Hey, Core Link Solution family, welcome back to the Core Link Solution with yours truly, James Rousseau, a.k.a. Trig, right here on Holy Culture Radio. And I just want to say this, she is back, okay? Our local hero that is trying to help solve the needs of those who have food insecurity. Loree Jones Brown is the CEO of Philabundance. And if you didn't hear the last time she was on, I invite you to go back and hear the podcast. Loree, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Trig. It's good to be back.
It's so good to have you back. How is your new year going so far?
The year's been great. We started off strong. We had a nice holiday break, giving folks a break during the holidays. But January was an important month for us with King Day. We welcomed the president back to Philabundance for the third time and raised awareness about food insecurity.
That's awesome. And, one of the things I think in terms of food insecurity, I would love to talk about it a bit because I can imagine being a nonprofit myself, when you go through the holiday seasons, there's such good feelings of everything, family, friends, loved ones, and giving. And sometimes after the holidays pass, I think there can be kind of a backtrack in giving, not purposely, but just, it's not as festive anymore. Right. And maybe there's unconscious feelings of maybe the problems have subsided because we've all done so much. And I know that's not the case. So can you ground us a little bit in terms of what food insecurity means right now?
Absolutely. I think you're exactly right. We're so grateful that at that holiday time of year when people are celebrating with their own families or it's in the tax year, people are really generous. They have food drives, they donate, turkey drives, all of that. But the reality is, as you said, Trig, is that all year round, 12 months of the year, some of our neighbors are suffering with food insecurity. It's not just over the holiday break. It happens in the winter, especially. So this is a time that we definitely want people to remember that there are neighbors out there who need access to food.
And I would say probably you might not necessarily know your neighbor's struggling with food insecurity, right? There may not be visible signs per se. So statistically, whether it's Philadelphia for the region, give some sense of what that looks like in terms of some of the stats.
Absolutely. Over 500,000 people across southeastern Pennsylvania and southern New Jersey are food insecure. So I say that chances are each and every person listening knows somebody. It's a relative. It's somebody who works in a local store or restaurant that they go to. It's a neighbor, it's a cousin. Somebody is food insecure. And sometimes it's really that people are working. We know that things cost more each year, right?
Absolutely.
And so one of the things that our neighbors tell us is sometimes they have more month than money. So what that means is, yes, they have that paycheck or they get those benefits, but they don't last them the entire month. And so they have to come to the Charitable Food Network for a little bit of support.
Yeah. And what's the appropriate way to try to help, right? So if you, well, one, I mean, it's like anything else. We have to be careful trying to diagnose a problem, right? Or trying to see it. But, you're in a position where you get a view to things that most people don't. Think about coming out of your chair. For the average person, how would you kind of probe that there is an issue? And if you think there's an issue, what's the appropriate way to approach it?
Yeah, I think one is I'm going to assume that somebody has an issue themselves or knows somebody who does. And so we suggest that you just offer resources. I'll give an example of my mom. My mom has friends. My mom's a senior, obviously a little older than I am. So she's a senior. She has a card club. She goes to her local center and she'll end up talking to folks in her friend group. And some of them will say, hey, I had a hard time. I couldn't afford something. Where can I find resources? And so she's able to say, hey, visit Philabundance's website, go to the Why Hunger website to find out where. And one of the ways of doing it, Trig, is letting people know that they can find resources for their friends. Yes. We all know those folks that have said, hey, I have a friend with this problem. If we don't want to necessarily expose it ourselves. But hey, if you know somebody who has a challenge, you can visit this church that has a food pantry, go to the senior center a certain day of the week. Let me get those resources that you can then pass on to your friend.
I love that. That's always a good one. Yeah. So now you guys are about to kick off a campaign, the Spread the Love campaign. Tell us about it.
That's right. One of the things we think about in February is love, right? It's a month that we think about love. It's a month we think about Black history. Lots of things happen in February. So we're inviting people across this region to help us spread the love by donating peanut butter. We're trying to collect 40,000 jars of peanut butter this month. And we know some people are allergic to certain kinds of nuts. And so it can be a non-traditional nut. So it could be like almond or cashew or some other version or something. So we're encouraging people to go to our website, philabundance.org, to find out how you can donate. You can either donate funds for us to purchase those kind of peanut butters, or you can visit us. We have warehouses in Philadelphia, in South Philadelphia near the stadiums, right near 3rd and Pattison, or in North Philadelphia at 3rd and Berks. You can visit us and drop off a can of one of the nut butters for us to then donate to people.
That's great. And what's the goal for Spread the Love, if you don't mind me asking?
We're hoping to collect 40,000 jars. It's a lot. But we know
Wow.
there's so many generous people in the region. And the
Yes.
40,000 is because this year, 2024, is actually Philabundance's 40th anniversary. So you're going to keep hearing 40 all throughout
Nice.
the year for us as we celebrate our impact and try to raise our game to improve the lives for more and more people.
Nice. And we'll have to have you on from time to time and give some updates. Will you have a thermometer or something on the website so people can track as the goal is continuing to be reached?
We will now.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Suggestion, Trent. It's a great suggestion. We definitely would have to do something like that.
Yeah, it gives a little gamification and, are we winning, so to speak? Hey,
Well,
go
to that
ahead.
point, Trig, if I can jump in on kind of are we
Please.
making gamification, one of the ways that people can, either through this campaign or really anytime, support us is through what we call a virtual food drive. So you can literally donate food to us. And I encourage people, there's a top 10 list of things we want right now. It's peanut butter, but it's cans of, it's pastas, sauces, things like that. It's really whatever you would eat. The reality is that our neighbors who are food insecure are all of us. So let's give people what we would want, right?
That's
But
good.
we have something called a virtual food drive where you can sign up with a team, with your class, with your church group, and you can see, like we've set a goal of raising $500 or $100, and then you can see that, have your own personalized way of doing that on our
That is so good. And so for people who also say, okay, great, I want to be a part of the Spread the Love campaign, but to your point, I may want to do a food drive. You've offered the virtual food drive. Are there any other tips or advice you would give or resources you would give to people, whether it's churches, community centers, a group of moms in a neighborhood that say, we want to do a food drive? What are some of the tips you might offer?
Yeah, we actually have a great little toolkit and all those tips right on our website. So please visit us at philabundance.org to find out how to have a literal and actual food drive or a virtual food drive. And you can submit your information and somebody can give you a call to walk you through that.
Excellent. Where do you want people to go immediately following hearing this right now to become a part of the Spread the Love campaign? Where do you want them to go?
We want them to go to their local grocery store or online, and we want them to get some nut butter, some peanut butter, and those kinds of things, and then come on down to Philabundance and drop those off for people, for our neighbors.
And if they're out of the Philadelphia region because we're national, how can they be a part of this?
They can do all of this virtually on our website.
Excellent. All right, guys, go to philabundance.org and make sure you become part of the Spread the Love campaign. Be conscious of the food insecure and the ways you may be able to approach them. Loree Jones Brown, thanks again for visiting the CoreLink Solution.
Thanks so much, Trey.
Thank you.